Well, the horses are leaving the paddock for this evening's non-wagering event, Mid-America Harness Drivers Club, a trot of 1 mile. A field of 6, the one is Primo Rager, owned by Bud Hatfield of Columbus, Ohio, trained by Milton Smith with Bud Hatfield. Number 2 is Village Advocate, owned in partnership by Roger Bartley and Roger Bartley Jr. They're in Lockbourne, Ohio, trained by Roger Bartley Jr., David Ehrenberg II, the driver. The 3 is a Royal Decree, owned by the Home Stock Farm of Millersburg, Ohio, trained and driven by Dean Beachy. Number 4 is High Hill Spirit, owned by Timothy Twaddle of Sacramento, California, trained by Milton Smith with Bob Chapman. Number 5 is Overnight Air, owned by Bartley and Bartley Jr. of Ohio, trained by Roger Bartley with Roger Bartley Jr. And for the outside of the 6 is Royal Sugar, owned, trained, and driven by John Ryan Melsheimer of Hopewell, Ohio in the Sulky. That's the field for the non-wagering event, Mid-America Harness Drivers Club. They'll go to the post, they'll take 1 score and go straight to the gate. Post time momentarily. Mid-America Harness Drivers Club non-wagering event, a field of 6 moving up and moving in. From the rail out, Primo Rager, Village Advocate to Royal Decree, High Hill Spirit, Overnight Air, and Royal Sugar on the outside. The gate swings into the back stretch, and there they go. Field in motion. They're all fan trotting in, firing out of there for the lead. There goes High Hill Spirit, getting the first call. Off stride went the 1 Primo Rager. Driving over the outside, Royal Sugar is looking to march on towards the top here. A Royal Decree to the inside after a gap of 2 has come away, trotting in 3rd. 4th along the inside, Overnight Air. And then we got their racing in 5th as they step over to the opening quarter-mile mark of the race here. On top of the field, leading the way, Royal Sugar. Over to the opening quarter in 29 1/5, and on by the stand for the first time, and heading on down to the half, and out there on top, leading the way, Royal Sugar, leading the way here by 1.25 lengths. Into the inside, racing in 2 there, that is High Hill Spirit. 3rd along the inside, a Royal Decree. 4th there, that is Overnight Air. Gapped out in 5th, that is Primo Rager trailing the field. As they step around the clubhouse turn in front of the paddock and on over to the half. On top of the field, leading the way here, Royal Sugar and John Ryan out there dictating the fractions here, leading it by 1.25 lengths. Into the inside, High Hill Spirit is still tracking in that garden spot in 2. They're halfway home in 101 4/5. To the inside, racing in 3rd of Royal Decree. 4th on the inside, that is Overnight Air, and tipping to the outside. Here comes Primo Rager, driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 and off stride out of the 2-hole. Went the 4, High Hill Spirit. On top, Royal Sugar continues to lead the way here. Primo Rager to the outside after that slow early beginning is grinding it out first over the outside in 2. Off stride goes the 3 of Royal Decree. Now inside in 3rd as they trot by the 3/4 mile mark of the race. 1:33 4/5. That is Overnight Air. They'll trot the final turn and head for home of the Mid-America Harness Drivers Club, and on top of the field, that's Royal Sugar to the inside. Primo Rager trots in 2nd to the top of the lane. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come, and Royal Sugar with the lead here is trying to take them gate to wire. To the outside, Overnight Air is charging hard here, but it's a little too late. This is Royal Sugar coast to coast. Overnight Air to go 2nd. A Royal Decree gets up for 3rd. Primo Rager was 4th, and 5th and last. High Hill Spirit at the top of the mile, 2:04 flat. Royal Sugar. Stepping trackside to the winner's circle, the winner of the non-wagering Mid-America Harness Drivers Club event, timed in 2:04 flat. Here's the 6, Royal Sugar, going gate to wire. A 5-year-old bay gelding by Striking Sabra out of a Royal Prestige mare, Royal Sweep, owned, trained, and driven by John Ryan Melsheimer of Hopewell, Ohio. The 6, Royal Sugar, home winner in 2:04 flat. Here's the rundown for the Mid-America Harness Drivers Club. The 1, Primo Rager, 4. The 2, Village Advocate was scratched. The 3, a Royal Decree, 3. The 4, High Hill Spirit, 5. The 5, Overnight Air, 2. And the 6, Royal Sugar, the race winner. Rate checking, 4 scratch, 3, 5, 2, 1 on the bottom. This evening's first race, Stallions and Geldings, maiden pace at 1 mile, purse at $2,000. First half of the early double, exact trifecta wagering, a field of 9, no changes. Here are the parading pacers. The one is Nuclear Falcon, owned by James Sparks and Kip Yates of Ohio, trained by Dan Colcright, Bob Harper. Number 2 is MEGASAM, owned in partnership by Marty McLean and Doug Parker of Canal, Winchester, Ohio, trained by Doug Parker, the K-Man, Kayne Kauffman. Number 3 is Brave Mox, owned by Charles Kelly of Columbus, Ohio, trained and driven by Jeff Collins. Number 4 is Tag'em, owned and trained by Ron Barker of Chillicothe, Ohio, Bill Long Jr., the driver. Number 5 is Road to Winds, owned by Mark Brummel of Trenton, New Jersey, trained by Dan Ader, Kyle Ader. Well, the 6 is IRA'S Sonny Boy, owned by Barbara Kreitzer of West Alexandria, Ohio, and Lori Kreitzer of Ohio, trained by Ira Kreitzer with Chip Noble. Number 7 is Rippin John, owned by Timothy John Leisure of Circleville, Ohio, trained and driven by Adam Rucker. Well, the 8 is Scotty's Magic, owned and trained by Donald Hay of Coldwater, Ohio, Brett Miller at the lines. Into the outside of the 9, Snooze You Lose. On the lessee is Cheryl Stringfellow, Hebron, Ohio, trained and driven by Mike Spearman and the Sulky. That's the field for the first race. First half of the early double, exact trifecta wagering, field of 9, no changes. Post time 7:30, 6 minutes away. 6 minutes till post time for the upcoming first race. First half of the early double, exact trifecta wagering, field of 9 to go postward. I'm at 1, 6, and 3. Nuclear Falcon. Scott's at 1, 5, and
field in motion. They're off and pacing and driving out for the lead from the pole position. There goes Nuclear Falcon getting the first call. Brave Mox has drove up on the outside, racing in 2. MEGASAM has come away, racing in 3rd, and is now sliding through to be 2. Brave Mox looks to be angled to the pylons in 3. 4th on the inside, Road to Winds. 5th there, that is Tag'em. 6th along the pylons, IRA'S Sonny Boy. Followed in 7th there by Rippin John. Just ahead of Scotty's Magic and Snooze You Lose. Can see the entire field as they march by that opening quarter. The opening quarter came and went in 29 3/5. On by the stands for the first time and heading on down to the half. And up top here, Nuclear Falcon and Bob Harper on the point, dictating the fractions here by length and a half. Now rushing over the outside. Here's Road to Winds, and Road to Winds is looking to brush towards the top here as they enter the clubhouse turn and race on over to the half. Inside in 3rd, MEGASAM is watching over these dueling leaders. 4th there on the inside, that is Brave Mox. Followed in 5th there by Tag'em. 6th to the outside, IRA'S Sonny Boy. They reach the half in 59 seconds flat. And along the inside, racing in 7th, that is Scotty's Magic. 8th is Rippin John, and 9th and trailing Snooze You Lose. Off the turn and driving down the backside, it was Road to Winds, but now brushing back up on the outside here. Nuclear Falcon retakes the lead. Road to Winds to the inside is yielded for that pocket trip, racing in 2. Outside in 3rd, Brave Mox. 4th on the inside, MEGASAM could not go on. Outside of there in 5th and continuing to close in, IRA'S Sonny Boy. And they race by 3/4 and 1:28 and 1/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and Nuclear Falcon with a lead here. Into the inside, Road to Winds is still stalking, racing in 2, and now he's angled off the pylons to take a shot at the leader and sent up 3 high. Will be Brave Mox to the top of Power Alley. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come, and Nuclear Falcon is digging down deep here. Out of the outside, Road to Winds is getting no closer, just in front of the tote board. Nuclear Falcon going away. Road to Winds to go second. IRA'S Sonny Boy was third at the time with a mile 1:58 flat. A first career victory for the one, Nuclear Falcon. Exact is worth $12.60. 156 tries, $63.40. Trackside of the winner's circle in a first career victory, timed at 1:58 flat. Here's the one, Nuclear Falcon. A 4-year-old bay gelding by Nuclear Siren, that of a Falcon Almahurst mare, Megan's Falcon, owned in partnership by James Sparks and Kip Yates, both of the Buckeye State, trained by Dan Colcright, nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Bob Harper. The one, Nuclear Falcon, first career victory, comes in 1:58 flat at the hands of Bob Harper. Well, the second race, condition trotters are stepping onto the track. A trot of 1 mile, purse at $2,200. Second half of the early double, exact trifecta wagering, a field of 8, no changes. Here is the field. The one is GARCIAPARRA. The lessee is Dorothy Christy of Grove City, Ohio, trained by Mr. Todd Christy. Jim DAILEY, the driver. The 2 is John Sugar and James Sparks of Grove City, Ohio's publisher, trained and driven by Sandy Beatty. The 3 is Fiery Hit, owned by Roger Bartley and Roger Bartley Jr., the Buckeye State, trained by Roger Bartley, Bob Harper. The 4 is Little Beans, owned by David Ehrenberg II of Westerville, Ohio, trained by Robert Inman, Brett Miller. Number 5 is Mystic Joanne, owned by Lionel Ray Whitaker of Zingsville, Ohio, trained and driven by Trent Tharps. Number 6 is Sandy Crown, owned by Alfred Scholar and Robert Stewart of Ohio, trained by Tom Brinkerhoff, Dave Myers. Number 7 is KW's Overcast, owned by Charles Veneran of Williamstown, West Virginia, trained by Charles Veneran with Bill Long Jr. And for the outside of the 8, he's a big dude, owned and trained by Mark Hartnell of Delaware, Ohio, Dean Collins, and the Sulky. That's the field for the second race, second half of the
field in motion. They're all fan trotting in, firing away from the outside. KW's Overcast getting the first call here from the inside. Fiery Hit just coming away, trotting in 2. GARCIAPARRA from the inside comes away, trotting in 3rd. The outside in 4th, Sandy Crown. In there racing in 5, that is Publisher. Just ahead of there in 6th, Mystic Joanne. 7 to the outside, he's a big dude. And 8th and trailing the field, that is Little Beans. As they step around the first turn and over to the opening quarter, now on the outside, here's Fiery Hit to claim control through the initial quarter of 28 and 4/5. On by the stands for the first time and heading on down to the half. Fiery Hit up top here, leading it by length and 3 pars to the inside. KW's Overcast, Scioto for that pocket trip, racing in 2. GARCIAPARRA unused is trotting in 3rd. 4th, that is Sandy Crown, moving to the outside and trotting up steadily here. Down the outside in 5, he's a big dude. 6 to the inside, Publisher. 7, that is Mystic Joanne, who wheels to the outside of there. And 8th and trailing Little Beans as they step around the clubhouse turn in front of the paddock. They reach the half, 59 and 2/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 and up top. Fiery Hit at 25 to 1 continues to carve out the fractions here by 2. Off stride of the back went the 5, Mystic Joanne, with less than 3/8 of a mile to travel. On top, Fiery Hit leading it here by 2 to the inside. KW's Overcast still trotting in 2nd. Up on the outside, he's a big dude, continues to grind it out. First over the outside, now in 2. 3/4 and 1, 28 and 2/5. Backside, 29 seconds flat. They'll trot the final turn and head for home. And up top, Fiery Hit is trying to make every pull a winning one. To the outside, he's a big dude, is now bearing down in 2 as they turn to the top of Heartbreak Lane. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. Fiery Hit is under siege here. And to the outside, he's a big dude. Up the inside, KW's Overcast as they come to the wire. He's a big dude. Gets up to win it. Fiery Hit to go 2nd. KW's Overcast was 3rd at the time of the mile, 1:58 and 3/5. He's a big dude and a new lifetime mark. 8 Circle, the official winner of the second race. Second half of the early double, timed at a new lifetime mark, 1:58 and 3/5. For the 3rd win in 2004, it's the AT's a big dude. A 4-year-old bay horse by our Don T. Out of a Mighty Crown mare, Mighty Hazel. Owned and trained by Mark Hartnell of Delaware, Ohio. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Dean Collins. The AT's a big dude. Home a winner and a new lifetime mark, 1:58 to 3/5. The freshman pacing fillies are stepping onto the track for this evening's 3rd race. A pace of 1 mile, purse at $2,400. Exact trifecta wagering, a field of 10. There are no changes. The 10 Midnight Sammy will score from the 2nd tier. Here's the field. The 1 is Nan's Dancer, owned by Patricia Soulsby of Powell, Ohio, trained and driven by Rick Shout. Number 2 is Bill's Sunshine, owned by Bill Marine of Wilmington, Ohio, trained by Larry Fisher with Brett Miller. The 3 is Rap's Delight, owned by Paul Coates of Wilberforce, Ohio, trained and driven by Darren Mauser. The 4 is Robin Redbest, owned by Ram Racing Stables of Portland, Maine, trained by Mike Campbell, the K-Man, Kayne Kauffman. Number 5 is Caviar Cheyenne, one of the Caviar Farms of Vienna, Virginia, trained by Jim Artledge Jr., Dallas Miller. The 6 is KB Connection, owned by Mark Winters and Clarence Schock of Ohio and Florida, trained and driven by Mark Winters.
The 7 is Love the Game, owned by Steve Jones of Montgomery, New York, trained and driven by Chip Noble. Well, the 8 is BT Connection, owned by Joan and Roy Burns in Milford Center, Ohio, trained and driven by Roy Burns. For the outside of the 9 is Mrs. Whiz, owned by the White Creek Stable Incorporated at Dublin, Ohio, trained and driven by Dean Collins. And with the second tier, number 10, Midnight Sammy, owned by Prickett of Waynesville, Ohio, and Prickett of Wilmington, Ohio, trained by Tom Prickett, Ace Nisonger, Ian Hersulke. That's the field for the third race. 2-year-old pacing fillies, exacta trifecta wager.
And there they go. Field in motion. They're off and pacing and firing away for the lead from the inside. There goes Raps Delight driving up in the middle of the track. Caviar Cheyenne is on the go. Bill's Sunshine comes away racing in third. Fourth from the rail there, that is Nan's Dancer. Fifth from the second tier, Midnight Sammy. Sixth and angled at the pylons, Robin Redbest. Seventh there, that is KB Connection. Just ahead of there in eighth, BT Connection. And the two trailers here as they step around the first turn and over to the opening quarter, BT Connection and Mrs. Whiz. The opening quarter came and went in 28 4/5 and on by the stands for the first time and heading on down to the half. Raps Delight up top for Darren Mauser, leading it by a length and a quarter. To the inside, Caviar Cheyenne is racing into and now rushing up on the outside. Here's Nan's Dancer to tackle the leader here. Second over the outside, racing in fourth, Robin Redbass pinned into the pylons in fifth, and now there has clearance. That is Bill's Sunshine. Sixth, that is Midnight Sammy. Seventh there along the inside, Love the Game. Eighth up on the outside, BT Connection. Ninth along the rail, KB Connection, and 10th in trailing Mrs. Whiz. They're halfway home, 59 1/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Freshman pacing fillies, heads are pointed towards three quarters and being led up top by Raps Delight here, leading it by a half. To the outside, and Nan's Dancer is still grinding it out, racing into just ahead away now. And second over the outside, racing in third and sent up three wide. Here comes Robin Redbass to the inside, racing in fourth there as they step around the final turn, racing in fourth. That is Caviar Cheyenne, 3/4 and 129 flat. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and on top of the field, clearing to the front end here, that's Robin Redbest and the Cayman to the outside in two. That's Midnight Sammy who's coming after the leader here, and Love the Game is gearing it up from the back. Less than an eighth of a mile to pace, and they're on their way home, driving through Power Alley. Into the inside, Robin Redbest with a lead here. Into the inside in two, Midnight Sammy. Middle of the track, here's Bill's Sunshine, and Love the Game is storming on, but as they come to the wire, Robin Redbest breaks her mate in here. Love the Game racing two, finishing third, Bill's Sunshine. The time of the mile, 1:59 and 1/5. Robin Redbest, 59 and 1/5. Here's the 4, Robin Redbest, a 2-year-old daughter of Cambest out of an Albatross mare. Robin P. Hanover, owned by Ram Racing Stables of Portland, Maine, trained by Mike Campbell. Nicely handled here this evening by the winning driver, the Cayman, Kayne Kauffman. The 4, Robin Redbest, breaks her mated in 1:59 and 1/5, returning $12, 480, 320. Second, the 7, Love the Game, returning 520, 460. Third of the 2, Bill's Sunshine, 420. Well, the 4-7 exact is worth $40.60. The 4-7-2 try is worth $210.60. Horses are on the track and print of the post for the fourth race. Condition trotted 1 mile, purse at $2,400. Exact trifecta early pick 3 wagering begins here. 2 scratches, scratch the 1, Slate Run Tea Garden 6, scratch the 2, Little Buddy Injured, beginning with the 3, Striking Goal, owned by Russell Herr and James Woodward of Groveport, Ohio, trained by Danny Collins, Brett Miller. The 4 is Electric Vivian, owned by Sally Schaefer of Parkinson and James Parkinson, both of Ohio, trained and driven by Scott Parkinson. The 5 is Goodbye Daddy, owned by Gary Adams of Circleville, Ohio, trained by Jerry Katschbach, the Cayman, Kayne Kauffman. The 6 is Trot Like Dad, owned, trained and driven by Fritz Haug of Pleasant Grove, California. The 7 is Forever Over, owned by Patterson of Galloway, Ohio, and Patterson of Cambridge, Ohio, trained and driven by Dave Myers. The 8 is Our American Dream, owned, trained and driven by Dean Beachy of Berlin, Ohio. For the outside of the 9 is Lily Munster, owned and trained by Earl Bushelman of Hamilton, Ohio. Ace Nisonger is up. And for the second tier, number 10, Champagne Dream, and with the Dream With Me stable, Caledon East, Ontario, Canada, trained by John Eads, Ian the Sulky. That's the field for the fourth race. Set for a start. Break the 4, Electric Vivian before the start, field in motion.
They're all fan trotting in, firing away. Mid-track, there goes the 6. Trot Like Dad is headed out for Commandeer. Right alongside, Forever Over is also drove out into the fray. Goodbye Daddy trots in third, and Goodbye Daddy steps it off stride there as they race around the first turn and over to the opening quarter, coming away in third. At a striking goal, angle to the pylons in fourth. Our American Dream, fifth on the inside. Lily Munster, sixth there. That is Champagne Dream. In the two trailers here after the early miscues, that's Electric Vivian and Goodbye Daddy. The opening quarter was stepped off and 31 3/5, and on by the stands they come for the first time and head over to the half. On top of the field, driving up here, that is Forever Over, and Dave Myers up top, dictating the fractions, trying to ration out his speed, leading it here by length in 3 parts as they roll under the wire with less than 5/8 of a mile to go. To the inside, Trot Like Dad is in 2, inside in third, and now angled off the pylons. Here comes Striking Goal as they step around the clubhouse turn in front of the paddock and on over to the half. And along the inside, Our American Dream trots in fourth. Outside of there, racing in fifth as they step by the half. Champagne Dream, they're halfway home in 102 4. 6 to the inside, and Lily Munster, 7th and closing the gap there. Electric Vivian continues to close in, and 8th and trailing Goodbye Daddy, stepping midway down the backside. On top of the field, Forever Over with the lead here. To the outside, trotting into that Striking Goal. Trot Like Dad to the inside, trots in third there. Outside, racing in fourth as they trot towards the 3/4 mile mark of the race, and that is Champagne Dream, 3/4 in 1:33 2/5. They'll trot the final turn and head for home, and Forever Over with a lead here. To the outside, Striking Goal is still there, still coming to him. And to the inside, Trot Like Dad in third as they turn to the top of Power Alley. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come with the lead here. Forever Over to the outside, Striking Goal up the inside, Trot Like Dad as they come to the wire. Forever Over outside, Striking Goal. Striking Goal gets the better here, finishing second. Forever Over finishing third was the 6, Trot Like Dad. The time of the mile 2:03 2/5. Striking Goal and a first career start, first career victory. A 4-year-old bay mare by Striking Sabra out of an Ombro Goal mare. Ambitious Goal, owned by Russell Herr and James Woodward of Groveport, Ohio, trained by Danny Collins. Nicely handled here this evening by the leading dash winning driver in all of North America. Scioto Downs leading driver, the Hitman, Brett Miller. The 3, Striking Goal, 2:03 2/5. Ladies and gentlemen, please note the inquiry sign has been posted by the stewards here against the unofficial third place finisher, the 6, Trot Like Dad. Prize is worth $668.80. During a field of 10, no changes. The 10 Maximus de Gladiator will score from the second tier. The 1 is Marvin Stewart, owned by Russell Herr and James Woodward of Groveport, Ohio, trained by Russell Herr with a K-man, Kayne Kauffman. Well, the 2 is Divine Favor, owned by the Gates Mills stable of Aurora, Ohio, and Palatani of South Euclid, Ohio, trained and driven by Sergeant Steve Carter. The 3 is Vi Raphael, owned by Richard Elwood of Lancaster, Ohio, trained by Rick Hartman with Bill Long Jr. The 4, Meadowland Bryce, owned by Tamara Hoover of Pataska, Ohio, and Mike Metters of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, trained by Mike Metters, Kyle Ader. The 5 is Harmonicon, owned by Connie Monar of Ashley, Ohio, and Michael Price of Lockbourne, Ohio, trained by Connie Monar, Brett Miller. Number 6 is 3 G's, owned and trained by Clarence Gilliam of Chillicothe, Ohio, with Adam Rucker. Well, the 7 is Artie Boy, owned and trained by Mr. Todd Christy of Grove City, Ohio, with Ace Nisonger. Well, the 8 is 3 Cent Piece, owned by David Knoll, Plain City, Ohio, trained by Owen Harness, Jim Daly. Well, the outside of the 9 is French Lips, owned and trained by Jim Kiesel of Litchfield, Ohio, Jeff Fount. In for the second tier, number 10, Maximus de Gladiator, owned by Randy Lee Owens, Ewan, and Chambers. They're all of the Buckeye State, trained by Randy Lee Owens, Bob Harper, and the Sulky. That's the field for the 5th. Field in motion.
being sent on their way. They're all fan pacing and firing away the inside trio here. Driving up on the outside, that is 3 Cent Piece to join them here as they race into the first turn and over to the opening quarter. Marvin Stewart from the inside is showing the lead here. Looking Divine Favor to be placed in the 2-hole. Up on the outside and off stride in 3 goes by Raphael. Now in third from the second tier, Maximus de Gladiator. Angle to the pylons, forwardly placed there. 3 Cent Piece racing in 4. Fifth there's Meadowland Bryce. Sixth, that is Harmonicon, followed in seventh by 3 Gs. The opening quarter came and went in 29 seconds flat. On by the stand for the first time, and up top, Marvin Stewart to the K-Man to the inside. Divine Favor under a snug hold from Carter there, racing in 2. Maximus de Gladiator racing in 3rd. First over the outside, racing in 4th there, Meadowland Bryce. 5th and pendant at the pylons, 3 Cent Piece. Second over the outside in 6th, that is Harmonicon. 7th, that is 3 Gs, Outer Flow. 3rd over the outside, racing in 8th as they step around the paddock turn. That's the 9 French Lips. 9th on the inside, Artie Boy, and 10th and trailing after the early miscue by Raphael. They're halfway home in just a minute flat. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 and Marvin Stewart of the K-Man still there, leading it by a half and charging over the outside of Meadowland Bryce. These two on even terms, sparring down the backside. Inside in 3rd, Divine Favor perfectly placed. Second over the outside in 4th there, Harmonicon, and Harmonicon has jumped it off stride. They race by 3/4 and 1, 28 and 4, backside 28 and 4/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and Meadowland Bryce with the lead here by 4.5, 5 lengths, and he's opening up with every single stride as they turn to the top of Power Alley. Less than an eighth of a mile to pace, and they're on their way home, driving through the lane, and Meadowland Bryce has bid this field an early good night, rolling away within the final 16th. Meadowland Bryce well in hand and well in command. Battles on for second and third here. It's going to be very close. May have been the 1 Marvin Stewart over the 2 Divine Favor. Down to the mile, 157 and 3/5. Meadowland Bryce in a new lifetime mark. The 5th race, now your official winner, timed at a new lifetime mark, 157 and 3/5 for the second win in 2004, the 3rd win of his career, the 4 Meadowland Bryce. A 3-year-old big outing by Meadowland Sam out of an Arts Plays mare, Meadowland Kelsey, owned by Tamara Hubler of Patasko, Ohio, and Mike Metters of Reynoldsburg, Ohio. Trained by Mike Metters, nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Kyle Wader. The 4 Meadowland Bryce, home a winner in a new lifetime mark, 157 and 3, returning $16, $8 Finishing second, the 1 Marvin Stewart, returning $925. Third of the 2 Divine Favor, returning $560. 4-1 Exacta, 139 even. 4-1-2 tries, $755.80. $2,400 Exacta trifecta wagering. Scratch the 7 T-Tar Stinger Sec. With the 10 DC's Main Squeeze will score from the second tier. The 1 is Rachel Nancy. The lessee is also the trainer Connie Monar of Ashley, Ohio. Mike Price, the driver. Number 2 is Big Muscles, owned by David Miller Jr. of Strasburg, Virginia. Trained by Dave Rankin, Bob Harper. The 3 Luke Casey, owned in partnership by Ira Crystal, Manhasset, New York, and Ann Zabar, New York, New York. Trained by John Schultz, Chip Noble. The 4 is Perfect Jerry, owned by Arden Homestead Stable of Delhi, New York, trained by Timmy Rucker with Debbie Rucker. The 5 is Final Chaser, owned by Leonard Buckner of Mount Eaton, Ohio, trained by Tom Brinkerhoff, Dave Myers. The 6 is Midnight Dream, owned by HPS Consulting Incorporated, E.G. Trott, James Paul. They're all of Ohio, trained by Ed Grano Sr., Ed Grano Jr. at the lines. The 7 T-Tar Stinger is out sick. The 8 G7 Bingo, owned by William Lane of Frankfort, Ohio, trained by Ken Lane, Jim Daly. From the outside of the 9 Southern Eagle, owned by Chester Alt of Chattown, Chattanooga, Tennessee, trained and driven by Sandy Beatty. And for the second tier, number 10, DC's Main Squeeze, owned by Sydney and Jeremy Watkins of Dalhart, Texas, trained by Dave Yoder, Jeff Fout, Ian Herschel. Break the 8 G7 Bingo before the start field in motion. Being sent on their way. They're all fan trotting in, firing out of there. Off stride went the 4 Perfect Jerry into the first turn. Big Muscles driving out from the inside.
Along the inside, Rachel Nancy has come away, trotting in two. Trotting up on the outside of there in third, that is Midnight Dream. Inside, racing in fourth at the pylons, Luke Casey. Outside in five, Final Chaser. Sixth from the second tier, DC's Main Squeeze. Seventh there along the inside, that is Southern Eagle. Eighth and back down trotting, G7 Bingo. And ninth and trailing back down trotting as well, Perfect Jerry. The opening quarter came and went in 29 3/5. On by the stands for the first time and heading on down to the half. Trotting up top, Big Muscles and Bob Harper on the point here, leading it by a length and a half. And to the outside, Midnight Dream is taking a long mile. The outside in two. Rachel Nancy along the inside is racing in third. Inside racing four, that's Luke Casey. Outer flow second over the outside in fifth. DC's Main Squeeze as they step around the clubhouse turn in front of the paddock and on over to the half. Inside racing in sixth, Final Chaser. They reach the half in 1:01 2/5. Outside racing in seventh, that is Southern Eagle. Eighth along the inside, Perfect Jerry. And ninth and showing the field, that is G7 Bingo stepping down the backside. Heads are pointed towards three quarters, less than 3/8 of them how to travel. And up top, Big Muscles, 6-5 Punter's Choice. And now swung up three wide. Here comes DC's Main Squeeze. These two on even terms, sparring down the backside as they race towards three quarters. They're at three quarters and 132 flat. They'll trot the final turn and head for home, and Big Muscles has jumped it off stride here, leaving DC's Main Squeeze alone on top. And to the inside, Rachel Nancy continues to close ground, trotting in two as they turn to the top of the stretch. Less than an eighth of them how to trot, and down the stretch they come, and DC's Main Squeeze with the lead here by 4.5, 5 lengths, and looking for more. This is DC's Main Squeeze in front. Finishing second, the one, Rachel Nancy. Third was the 5, Final Chaser. Time of the mile, 2:02 and a 1/5. DC's Main Squeeze back to winning ways. Main Squeeze posting the first win of the last 2 years, the four-year-old bay mare by Overcomer out of a Mr. Kingfish mare. DC's Lacey Louise, owned by Sydney and Jeremy Watkins at Dolhart, Texas, trained by Dave Yoder. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Jeff Fount. With a 10, DC's Main Squeeze, 2:02 1/5. And 60 cents. The early pick three of three, 3, 4, and 10 is worth $633 and 4 raise. Condition claiming pace at 1 mile, purse at $2,500. Exact trifecta wagering, a field of 10, no changes. The 10 belly button will score for the second tier. Here are the parading pacers. The one is Ellen's Beach Babe, owned by Ellen and Mike Havens of Asheville, Ohio, trained and driven by Jim Daly. The 2 is Moonlight Glitz, owned by Belinda Upchurch of Upper Arlington, Ohio, trained by Dan Kalkrite with Dave Myers. The 3 is Dana Taylor, Washington Courthouse, Ohio, Special Connection, trained by Dana Taylor with Jeff Fount. The 4 is Endures Forever, owned by Pamela Yoder, Dolhart, Texas, trained by Dave Yoder, Bob Harper. The 5 is Heartwarming, owned by the Nichols Stable of Indianapolis, Indiana, trained by Joe Essig, Chip Noble. The 6 is Wild Night on the Town by Dan Ader, Fawcett, and Brummel. They're of Ohio and New Jersey, trained by Dan Ader, Cow Ader, the reinsman. Number 7 is JC Pride by Todd Luther, Columbus, Ohio, trained by John Robinson, the K-Man, Kane Kauffman. Number 8, Firms in Town, owned and trained by Gerald Criswell, Marion, Ohio, with Ace Nisonger up. The outside of the 9, Perfect Approach, owned by Leonard Buckner of Mount Eaton, Ohio, trained by Tom Brinkerhoff, the driver. And for the second tier, number 10, Belly Button by Kathleen Borchers of Bellbrook, Ohio, trained by Daryl Whitaker, Brett Miller, Yen Hersulke. Field in motion. Being sent on their way. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the pole position. There goes Ellen's Beach Babe driving right alongside Special Connection. 3 wide to join the fray. JC Pride. 4 wide into the first turn there. Firms in Town. Furthermore to the outside of there in 5th. Perfect Approach. In between them racing in 6th. That is Heartwarming, who's caught out there and driving on. 7th is Moonlight Glitz. 8th from the second tier, Belly Button. 9th to the outside, Wild Out of the Town. And 10th and trailing for Endures Forever. The opening quarter came and went in a quick 27 2/5, a Royal Scramble for command up top here. JC Pride in off stride, taking a bad step as Firms in Town has jumped it off stride there. Up top, that is JC Pride, a gap of 2.5, 3, racing in 2. That is Ellen's Beach Babe, inside in 3rd, perfect approach around the clubhouse turn to go and on over to the half. On top of the field, JC Pride of the K-Man out there on the point, leading it by length and a half. Into the inside, Ellen's Beach Babe is racing in 2. They're halfway home, 57 1/5. A second quarter at 29 4. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Fillies and Mares heads are pointed towards 3/4 and up top, JC Pride. But here comes the outside attack. Here's the 6, Wild Knight of the Town. And Wild Knight of the Town is drawn on even terms and now pokes a nose ahead in front, now a neck. On top, that is with the lead here, Wild Knight of the Town. Inside in 2, JC Pride. Outside in 3rd, that is Heartwarming. They race by 3/4 and 127 flat. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and Wild Knight of the Town with a lead here. To the outside, Endures Forever is racing in 2. Along the inside in 3rd, that is JC Pride, ready to be swung 3 high. Ellen's Beach Babe to the top of Power Alley. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come, and Wild Knight of the Town with a lead here. A couple tippy taps of the whip from Ader. To the outside, Endures Forever in between them. There's Ellen's Beach Babe up the inside. Special connection at the wire. Wild Knight of the Town holding sway. Time of the mile 1:56 and 3/5. Wild Knight of the Town. A 3-year-old daughter of Towner's Big Guide of a log mare, Wild Proposition, owned by Dan Ader, Fawcett in Mark Brummel, New Jersey. Trained by Dan Ader, nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Kyle Ader. That's 2 wins on this evening's card for Kyle, giving him a driving double. And the 6, Wild Knight of the Town, returning $29, $14, $7.20. Second, the 4, Endures Forever, returning $9.20, $4.60. Third of the 3, Special Connection, $11 even. 6-4 Exacta, $161.20. 6-4 3-Try, $2,416.20.
Pick 3 wagering begins here. A field of 10. No changes. The 10 Forever Beautiful will score from the second tier. Number 1 is Lowbro Sammy, owned by Betsy Bright of Stevenson, Alabama, trained and driven by Dean Collins. But the 2 is Always, owned by T.D. Van Camp of Circleville, Ohio, trained by Tom Blankenship, Sandy Beatty. The 3 is Jack Shear of North Lawrence, Ohio's Hollandaise Hanover, trained by Mike Metters, Brett Miller. The 4, Towner Sally, by Gilmore Rogers and Batchy Jr., they're of Ohio and Florida, trained and driven by Rick Heitman. The 5 is Narissa Hanover, owned and trained by Ted Roop at Dayton, Ohio, Chip Noble. The 6, Ludi Floozy, by the Eagle Country Stables Incorporated of Olivet, Michigan, trained by George Anthrop, the K-Man, Kane Kauffman. The 7 is Perfect Daiquiri, owned in partnership by Sherry Myers of South Charleston, Ohio, and Diane Smith of London, Ohio, trained by Sherry Myers, Jeff Fout, the reinsman. The 8 is Fintish First, owned by Richard Finfrock of New Carlisle, Ohio, trained by Stephen Rosenbaum, Bob Harper, the pilot. For the outside of the 9 is Mary Ann's, owned by D. Landrum Racing Stable, Maryland and Mackenzie of Ohio, trained by Dennis Landrum, Jim Daly. And for the second tier, number 10, Forever Beautiful, owned and trained by Clyde Woodrow, South Charleston, Ohio, Jeff Ace Nisonger, Ian Hersalke. That's the field for the 8th race, kicking off the late pick 3 Exactas and Tries.
Field in motion. Bing, set on their way. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the inside. Always right alongside of there. That is Hollandaise Hanover, 3 wide to join the fray. That is Ludi Floozy. Away and forth from the rail there. That is Lowbro Sammy up on the outside in 5th. 3 wide. That is Mary Ann's. 6 from the second tier. Forever Beautiful. 7th there and angle to the pylons. Towner Sally, who's a handful for Heitman. Down along the inside in 8th. Narissa Hanover. The 2 trailers here are Perfect Daiquiri and Fintish First. As they wheel by the opening quarter. The opening quarter came into Enton 29 seconds flat. On by the stands for the first time and heading on down to the half. And up top, Always and Sandy Beatty out there on the top, dictating the fraction. positions by a length and a quarter. To the outside, now Towner's Sally is rushing over the outside here, looking to take the lead as they enter the clubhouse turn. On the inside in third, Hollandaise Hanover's watching over the dueling leaders from 3. As always, has given the cold shoulder to Towner's Sally here. Inside, racing in 4, that is Ludi Floozy. Racing at 5th, that is Lowbro Sammy. To the outside of there in 6th, that is Forever Beautiful. They're halfway home, 58 3/5. A second quarter at 29 3. Off the turn and driving down the backside of their long journey towards 3/4 begins now. Up top, leading the way, that's always leading it here by a neck. To the outside, Towner's Sally's been parked every step in 2. Inside in 3rd, that is Hollandaise Hanover. 4th at the pylons, Ludi Floozy. Outside and gaining ground in 5th there, that is Forever Beautiful. 6th and locked in, Lowbro Sammy. Outside in 7th, Perfect Daiquiri. 8th along the inside of Marianne's. The 2 trailers here as they step by 3/4 and 127 4/5 are Pintish first, and Narissa Hanover. They'll pace to the top of the stretch, and up top, always just trying to make every pull a winning one. Hollandaise Hanover's being angled off the pylons as they turn for home. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come, always with a lead here. Hollandaise Hanover, after the perfect trip, is ripping right on by. Hollandaise Hanover in front, always to go second. Ludi Floozy was 3rd there. Time of the mile, 1:57 2/5. Hollandaise Hanover and a new lifetime mark. First victory in 2004. Mark 1:57 2. First victory in 2004. Here's the 3 Hollandaise Hanover. A 3-year-old brown filly by the Panderos out of a Campbell mare. Holland Hanover, owned by Jack Shear of North Lawrence, Ohio. Trained by Mike Metters. Nicely handled here this evening by the winning driver, Brett Miller. The 3 Hollandaise Hanover is now your official winner, returning 380, 260, 320. Second was the 2 Always, returning 280, 380. Third of the 6, Ludi Floozy, 660. 3-2 exact is worth $10 even. 3-2-6 try, $83.60.
Dart Lame, the 9 Cam Love. Jim Daly will drive. The 10 My Lady's Pocket will score from the second tier. Here they are for the first half of the late double. The 1 Losers Bracket, owned and trained by Ronald Barker at Chillicothe, Ohio. Bob Harper drives. The 2 is Princess Ballet, owned by David Rahal, Mahwah, New Jersey. Trained by Virgil Morgan Jr. with Brett Miller. Number 3 is Saturday Surprise, owned by Richard Stevens at Columbus, Ohio. Trained by Roy Murphy, Ace Nisonger. The 4 is Crosswind Sally Jane, owned by Kayla Nestor of Orient, Ohio. Trained by Terry Groves. Terry Groves, the pilot. Number 5 is Go By Air, owned by Michaela Pollock of Asheville, Ohio. Trained by Jim Pollock Jr., Dave Ehrenberg II. The 6 Lady Be Dart is out lame. The 7 Jasper Willow, owned and trained by John Nelson Perrin of Lebanon, Ohio. J.D. Perrin is up. With the 8 is Whiskey Blue, owned by John Fike in New Albany, Ohio. Trained and driven by the K-Man, Kane Kauffman. With the outside of the 9 is Cam Love, owned by Glenn Collins of Hamilton, Ohio. Trained by Glenn Collins, Jim Daly. And for the second tier, number 10, My Lady's Pocket, owned by Patricia Tatum of Columbus, Ohio. Trained by John Tatum, Dean Collins, Ian Hersulke. That's the field for the 9.
This field is in motion. Being sent on their way. And a very nice start here, flashing early speed from the outside. There goes the 8 Whiskey Blue, driving through from the rail is Losers Bracket. Up on the outside of there in 3rd. That is Crosswind Sally Jane. Along the inside, now coming through to B3 from the second tier, My Lady's Pocket. Up on the outside in 4th now, Jasper Willow. 5th on the inside, Crosswind Sally Jane found a seat. 6th is Princess Ballet, followed up in 7th by Saturday Surprise. 8th along the inside to Go By Air, and 9th and trailing the field. Backed off the wings of the starting 8 Cam Love. The opening quarter came and went in 28 1/5, and on top, Losers Bracket, and now driving up on the outside. My Lady's Pocket and Dino looking for the point here, and now clearing to the front, rolling under the wire with less than 5/8 of a mile to travel. Inside into Losers Bracket is yielded for that garden spot in 2. On the inside, Whiskey Blue is watching over the top pair from 3rd. Outside, racing in 4th, Princess Ballet begins inching up on the outside. Racing there inside in 5th, that is Jasper Willow, as they reach the half in 59 seconds flat. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Fillies and mares heads are pointed towards 3/4, and on top, My Lady's Pocket and Dean Collins with a lead here, leading it by a length and a half. To the inside, Losers Bracket is racing in 2, inching over the outside in 3rd. Princess Ballet continues to close in on the leader here. Locked in at the rail, racing in 4th. Whiskey Blue up on the outside there in 5th. That is Saturday Surprise. Off stride on a nasty break went the 1 Losers Bracket here as they race by by 3/4 and 1:28 and 4/5. Backside 29 and 4. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. My Lady's Pocket to the inside and to the outside. Princess Ballet is now breathing down her neck, racing into and ready to be fanned. 3 high. Saturday's Surprise and Whiskey Blue can't wait for racing room to the top of the stretch. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Princess Ballet forging to the frontier. Whiskey Blue is charging hard on the inside as they come to the wire. Princess Ballet in front. Whiskey Blue to go second. Saturday's Surprise was third at the time of the mile. 1:59 flat. Princess Ballet. $52.40, 283 try, $200.20. Trackside of the winner's circle, the official winner of the 9th race, posting the 3rd win in 2004, the 3rd win of her career in 1:59 flat. Here's the 2, Princess Ballet. A thrill brown filly by Life Sign out of a Falcon Sealster mare, French Ballet, owned by David Rahal, Mahwah, New Jersey. Trained by Virgil Morgan Jr. Nicely handled here this evening by Scioto Downs leading driver, Brett Miller. That's 3 wins on this evening's card for Brett, giving him a driving triple as he steers the 2, Princess Ballet, home a winner in 1:59 flat.
Number 1 is Yankee Dragon, owned by Philip New of Waverly, Ohio, trained by Don Barker, Bob Harper. The 2 is Isn't He Classy, owned by Stephen Watkins of Sydney, Ohio, trained by Dan McClog, Adam Rucker. Number 3 is First Time Adam, owned and trained by Harold Edward Walters of London, Ohio, Jim Daly. The 4 is Torpedo, owned by Bartley and Bartley Jr. of Ohio, trained by Roger Bartley, Brandon Bartley. The 5 is Dutchy O'Donnell, owned by Mullen and Morgan of the Bluegrass State, trained by Glenn Collins, J.D. Perrin. The 6 is Earn Enough, owned by Lowell Prickett of Wilmington, Ohio, trained by Tom Prickett, Ace Nisonger. With the 7, Cole Tomar, owned by Alvin and Neil Long of Ohio, trained by Alvin Long, Jeff Smith. With the 8 is Profiler, owned and trained by George Anthrop of Marshall, Michigan, Brett Miller. Into the outside of the 9, Frequent Hanover, owned, trained and driven by Ty Van Roden of Mount Vernon, Ohio, and the Sulky. Scratch the 10, Ty Rogers Seg, the 5, Dutchy O'Donnell.
And there they go for the Superfecta finale. Field in motion. Bing, set on their way. They're all fan pacing and driving away from the middle of the track. There goes the 4, Torpedo, and Brandon Bartley getting the first call here. Driving for the rail, Yankee Dragon. Up on the outside, Profiler is forwardly placed there, looking to be angled along the pylons in 3. Inside, racing in 4, that's Isn't He Classy and Adam Rucker. 5th on the inside, First Time Adam. 6th there along the inside, Dutchy O'Donnell. 7th along the pylons, that's Earn Enough. 8th along the rail, that is Cool Tomar. And 9th and trailing backed off the wings of the starting gate, Frequent Hanover and Ty Van Roden can see them all. The opening quarter in 29 and 3/5. On by the stands for the first time and marching on over to the half and up top leading the way here. Torpedo with the lead here by length and a half. Brandon Bartley trying to ration out the fractions here on the front end with him. Inside in 2, Yankee Dragon is racing right there in that garden spot in 2nd. Covered up in 3rd, Profiler. Sent first over the rim, racing in 4th. Isn't He Classy around the clubhouse turn to go in front of the paddock and on over to the half. 2nd over the outside, racing in 5th. That is Dutchy O'Donnell. Buried on the inside, racing in 6th there. That is First Time Adam. They race by the half. They're halfway home in 1 minute and 3/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 of the finale, and up top, Torpedo continues to lead it here. And to the outside, Isn't He Classy could not go on from 2. At the rail, racing in 3rd, Yankee Dragon. Swung up 3 wide around that cover. Racing in 4th, that is Dutchy O'Donnell. 5th on the inside, Cole Tomar. And Jeff Smith begins to knock and rock there. They're by 3/4 and 1:29 and 2/5. Backside 29 and 2 and off stride went the 1, Yankee Dragon. They pace to the top of the stretch, being led by Torpedo here with the lead, leading it by 3.5 lengths to the top of the stretch. Less than an eighth of a mile to pace, and they're on their way home. And down the stretch they come, and Torpedo with a lead here, and he's opening up and drawing away within the final 16th. His strides are shortening just a bit, but he's clearly home a winner in the Superfecta finale. Torpedo coast to coast. Very close there is the 5, Dutchy O'Donnell. Very close for 3rd, a photo for show. Time of the mile, 1:59 and 3/5. Torpedo rockets home a winner.
4-5-2-7 unofficial. 4-5-2-7 unofficial. Trackside of the winner's circle, the unofficial winner of the 10th and final race, timed at 1:59 3/5. Here's the 4 Torpedo, a 4-year-old bay gelding by Baum Rickles out of a Whitson's Fiddle mare, Lucky in Love, owned by Roger Bartley and Roger Bartley Jr., both of the Buckeye State, trained by Roger Bartley, nicely handled here, gate to wire by winning driver Brandon Bartley. The 4 Torpedo and Brandon Bartley, home a winner, 1:59 3/5.